Hey, everybody. What an honor to have you here with us today. The Lord really put it on my heart to start this weekly call talking about health concerns, right? The Bible says that my people perish, God said, because of a lack of knowledge, right? So many people are getting sick. So many people have cancer. So many kids have autism now. I mean, there's an epidemic of all sorts. If there's one good thing that came out of COVID, it was that people are more health conscious. People are more aware of what is in the air, what is in our water, what is in our food. So I really felt the Lord put on my heart to start a series every week, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and talk about what's in our water, what's in our air, what's in our food, what's grounding, what are different homeopathic remedies that we can take, some homeopathic technologies, eco-friendly technologies as well that are meant to help us. Amen. Because our body, who knows, right, is a holy temple of the Lord. So feel free to invite friends, invite family, put this on social media. It's so funny because I was going to just have this meeting for my clients because I don't know if you guys know, I sell healthy home technologies, but the Lord said, no, put it out publicly, make it a class for everyone to attend, to share with their family and friends. Just a little background about me. You might be thinking, okay, who are you? I saw you on my Facebook. What do you know about health, right? By God's grace. I was going to go to medical school when I was coming out of college. Long story short, I decided to forego medical school and became a professional poker player. I know my parents were very, very proud. Instead of calling me a doctor, calling me a professional gambler. But I've never given up my passion for studying science, biology, microbiology, macrobiology, physiology, studying the body, anatomy. And I was blown away, especially the last few years, digging into, especially actually the last 5 years, really digging into health. And I was really astounded what I found in water. Astounded because we are made up of 70% water, and what is in it, right? I mean, it's shocking when I found out that in our water, there's chlorine, there's contaminants, there's volatile organic compounds. So I'm going to go over what is in our water, how to test our water, and what purification systems do I recommend? Because I've looked through a ton of them, you guys. I found some that I really love. I actually have in my own house that I use, that I share with my family and friends. The Lord even turned it into, a business where I share it with people all over who wants to hear about a good, healthy technology. And I want to preface this too. Like with my company, Healthy Home Technologies, and I have a bunch of my team here watching as well. I know you guys brought in, your friends and family and your clients as well. Our goal is to find the healthiest technologies in the world. You guys, we're going to talk about really cool, like the latest of the latest, healthy, natural technologies that the earth has, like grounding. Can't wait to talk about that. We're going to talk about air, how to cleanse our home, how to really purify our home. How does nature do it? Because we can bring the power of nature into our homes, right? We could. It's so cool. And I tell people I'm not glued to any company. I research and find, and my team researches and finds the healthiest technologies around the world. We're not glued to any company. If there's a better water filter system out there, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to switch and then I'm going to tell you. Okay. So we're going to cover all bases, but today we're going to focus on water. So let's jump into this. We know this is a fact, right? We're made of over 70% water. All of our body functions depend on it. Your neurons, every single cell in your body, your brain, your organs, everything. Drinking water and staying hydrated is critical. We know this, right? So even with a little bit of dehydration, we notice a lot of massive, effects. We get headaches, get dizzy, get loss of concentration, constipation, muscle cramps. It's funny because when my brother-in-law was in the military, every time he had a headache, they always said, drink more water, drink more water. That was always the remedy, which is actually true. First of all, they were in Afghanistan, so it was extremely hot, but they kept saying, drink more water, drink more water. And so he did. So drinking more water, you have headaches, dizziness, loss of concentration. A lot of times it's actually dehydration, but the problem is we have the worst tap water in the history of this world, right? We're going to talk about what's in there. Well water. People think, oh, I have well water, so I'm fine, Anna, I'm clear. I don't need to test it. No, you do need to test your well water. With city water, we're going to talk about, it's always the same kind of components: chlorine, chloroform, fluoride, chloramines, volatile organic compounds. We're going to go through all of that. But well water will also hit, and I'll show you a picture of hit aquifers, which are deep in the ground. So the wells hit this aquifer, and the aquifer goes over entire communities. So if you're near a farm, if you're near a power plant, right, pesticides, herbicides from the farm are going to go into the aquifer. You're going to tap into it. If you're near a nuclear power plant, in fact, this weekend, my team and I, we're going to head over to Loxahatchee. I think that's how you call it, Loxahatchee, Florida. There's a huge community of brain cancer. They live not far away from a power plant. I think it's called West Palm County Power Plant. We're going to hit up that community and tell them and educate them what's in their water and what kind of water filters they want to have. It's actually not just their water, it's also the air that we breathe, which we're going to get into and we'll talk about next week. So well water, you also need to filter your water, right? You have sediments in there, you have calcium in there, right? If you have hard water, you can have magnesium, you can have manganese, right? We're going to talk about different ways to test your water to see, okay, what is the problem? How do I get it out? How do I purify it? So unfortunately, like we were talking about just now, our tap water has so many different contaminants, pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers, even herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers are in our tap water. You guys, I live not in like a city, but I live near the city. I am on tap water right now. And I honestly never thought in a million years I would ever drink my tap water, ever. Thank God I found an amazing water filter that I use and that my water tastes crystal clear. And I've tested it before and after, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But you can actually get healthy, clean water from your tap, which is a crazy thing. Because again, we're going to go over what's in our water, right? And then even with, well water, we have systems as well, but it's gotten so much worse than it ever has been. Unfortunately, people think that bottled water is the remedy. That's a better alternative. Bottled water, we're going to talk about what is the problem with that, because I'm telling you, there are plastics, microplastics, right? There's 40% of bottled water is actually tap water. So we see that our water is getting worse and worse. Here are some videos that are covering and have covered what is in our water. So if you're in California, if you're in Florida, put it in the chat. What state are you guys in? Put it in the chat. Because in Florida, it's the second worst water in the country.
A study just released finds Florida ranked second in the nation for most violations of the Safe Drinking Water Act. Texas is the only state that's worse.
Nicole Griggs is taking a closer look at the report tonight and what needs to happen to make sure it becomes safer for you.
In a 26-page report, the environmental nonprofit, the Natural Resources Defense Council, finds nearly 1 in 4 Americans' drinking water comes from untested or contaminated systems. Mom Taisha Ortiz says that's why she doesn't drink it.
Use that water to take a shower, or like when you go to cook or something. So
the biggest concern, the type of disinfectants used to treat the water. Here in the Bay Area, Hillsborough County uses chloramine, a mixture of chlorine and ammonia. So does Manatee County. Pinellas County uses chloramine, but twice a year they switch to just chlorine for 21 days because it's a stronger disinfectant to kill off bacteria.
But I'm worried. I'm concerned.
Just last week, we talked to people about the chlorine conversion and the strong bleach-like smell that made its way through the faucets. The county admits there are other options to disinfect, but this is the best and most cost-effective way for them. Water Concerns is helping drive business for Culligan.
We're getting busy. Hotter it gets.
Yeah, Culligan is actually a very popular water filtration system. I actually found a better one, which I will talk about. But look at this, you guys, right? Let's go over this. Fluoride, right? What is in our tap water? Fluoride, chlorine. So fluoride, we know, is a neurotoxin, right? We use in toothpaste. And in fact, actually, I was just at an event, and let me put up my little video here. I was just at an event in Indianapolis. And I had a lady. I had like a sign of what's in our water, and the lady said, "Well, what's wrong with fluoride?" She goes, "Isn't it healthy? It's in our toothpaste." I go, fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a neurotoxin. toxin. You're not supposed to drink it. Amen. You're not supposed to drink it. It's not supposed to be in your toothpaste. It's extremely unhealthy. It's a neurotoxin. Chlorine. Chlorine is a gas. It's actually the same gas that used in gas chambers. It's extremely dangerous. It's a gas. It aerosols when you're taking a hot shower. Guess what happens to chlorine? That gas, you're breathing it in. It's actually going into your pores as well. Your skin is the largest organ on your body. So if you're like me and I love to take a hot shower, well, that chlorine gas goes right into your pores. It's actually going also right into your eyes. Your eyes are also picking it up. Chlorine gas. We have bacteria. Now, why do municipal tap water filtration centers, why do they put in chlorine? The reason is because they want to kill the bacteria. Because bacteria, we know, I mean, you can have them in pipes, they seep into the water, especially if there's like Florida, we have a lot of bacteria because we have a lot of humidity, right? So bacteria can seep in, fungi, cysts. There's a lot of filters on the system, you guys. I'm going to talk about it. There's a lot of filters on the system that do not get rid of bacteria, fungus, or cyst. Reverse osmosis is a huge one. Reverse osmosis, like a big trend. Everyone's like, oh, reverse osmosis does not get rid of bacteria. Brita does not get rid of bacteria. So you want to find a system that filters and purifies and not only gets rid of the contaminants, but also the bacteria and the fungi and the cysts, right? So cities put in chlorine in the water to what? To kill the bacteria, to kill the fungi, to kill the cysts. Okay, so what happens when they put chlorine in the water? Well, it smells like a pool. I don't know if you live in Florida where I am, it smells worse in my house than it does outside in the pool. Twice as bad. In fact, what happens is when people call and complain to the city and say, hey, the water smells like a pool, you need to cool it with the chlorine. You know what cities do? Anyone want to put it in the chat box? Anyone know what do the cities put into the water to alleviate? It's actually just changing the compound from chlorine to something else. Anyone know? Put it in the chat. They put in something called ammonia. So the city, in order to tackle the chlorine smell, they put in ammonia. Well, what's ammonia? Ammonia and chlorine make chloramine. Chloramine, right? Chloramine. Chloramine doesn't have an odor. It's not as effective killing bacteria, but it is still a carcinogen, you guys. Everyone nowadays has cancer. Everyone is sick. Everyone is unhealthy. We have autism everywhere. We have, neurological disorders everywhere. I mean, literally neurological disorders everywhere, right? You have people get cancer. I mean, it used to be 1 in 10, 1 in 20. Now it's 1 in 4. By the way, speaking of women, one of the biggest cancer-causing carcinogens for women is chlorine and aluminum. So aluminum, that's in your deodorant, you want to stay away from that. Chlorine in our water, if you're drinking it or taking a shower in it, leads to about 95% of breast cancers. And not just women, also men, causes a lot of cancers as well. It's extremely harmful, right? So we have chloroform, right? Which is how they, formaldehyde as well. They not embolden. I always forget the word. Embolden the dead bodies. I always forget the word. Sorry. Bad odor, bad taste, pesticides, herbicides, right? Farms, especially well water. You guys have, if you're next to a farm, you have pesticides, herbicides. You got to get that out as well. We also have it in our tap water. Anybody know why? Well, because when you're washing your fruits and vegetables, even organic non-GMO fruits and vegetables, they have a waxy, oily coat around the fruits and vegetables, which are full of pesticides, herbicides. And when you do wash it off, and if some of it comes off, then guess what? It goes into the tap water. The municipal departments, they do not filter water. They might filter out some poo-poo if like people in I think it's in California, they're announcing that they're going to be using poo-poo water, right? So they might filter out poo-poo, but not the carcinogens that are around your vegetables and fruits and vegetables. For example, this is actually my arugula, non-GMO organic arugula. I ended up putting it into, someone, told me about this, and I put high alkaline water. I actually have an amazing alkaline water machine on the website as well called the Living Water Machine. But look what I did. What happened when we put it in alkaline water, pH of 10, it came off. All the pesticides and herbicides, that yellow water. That is what's on your fruits and vegetables. It's a waxy, oily coat. The reason why farmers do not use water-soluble pesticides and herbicides is because they don't want it to wash off with the rain. So they use oil-based solutions, right? Waxy solutions. And guess what happens actually when you try to wash your fruits and vegetables under water, tap water, oil and water don't mix. So it's actually really hard to clean the surfaces. You do need something like alkaline water, which I'll talk about in the weeks to come, right? So if it does come off though, well, it's going to go into your drinking water. So that is why you'll actually find pesticides and herbicides in tap water. Pharmaceuticals. This is not shocking. It's not surprising. I mean, there are some people, you know, you guys, I think you know who I'm talking about. Someone said, you know, it's turning some of the frogs a different, you know, sexual orientation because of what's in our water. It's true. It has never been so bad. Let me show you this video as well.
Painkillers, blood thinners, and chemotherapy drugs are just some of the substances that are found in your drinking water. There's new information that some drugs are ending up in our water at levels never seen before. CBC's Kelly Crow has more on that.
There's something happening to the rainbow darter, a tiny fish that lives in the rivers of southern Ontario. If they're downstream from a sewage treatment plant, the male fish turn into females.
If you expose them to wastewater, they will feminize. They will have eggs in the testes.
What's causing the males to develop eggs? Human hormones, residue from prescription drugs that are flushed into the river. Using new highly sensitive equipment, scientists are finding an increasing variety of prescription drugs in the waterways. Painkillers, blood thinners, chemotherapy agents, hormones, antibiotics. If we swallow it, scientists can find it in the water.
Some of the drug comes in us and through us and out of us totally unchanged. So we actually have active drugs going into the waterway through our urine or feces.
Last month, a study of First Nations communities found levels of 3 prescription drugs in one southern Ontario river that were the highest in North America. And an unpublished Health Canada survey of tap water across the country found traces of prescription drugs in drinking water. Mark Servos is the lead author.
There are pharmaceuticals, as we expected, that are widely distributed in surface waters going into drinking water plants, and very low concentrations are detectable, but the concentrations are very, very low.
Because the drugs show up in such tiny traces, it would take hundreds of glasses of water before someone would be exposed to even a normal dose of the drug.
They're very low in concentrations. On the other hand, we have to be concerned because there's a mixture of these drugs that we're being exposed to in drinking water. And so that's some cause for concern.
Scientists still don't know if that combination of drugs in water poses a human health risk. That research has not been done. The World Health Organization calls it a knowledge gap.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a knowledge gap there. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, this is not supposed to be in our water. When you're taking a bath, and I talk to, you know, moms all the time. In fact, I love to do mama shows because I talk about, you know, getting away from chemicals. We have a system where you connect to the laundry machine, no chemicals, no detergent, right? We have systems that filter your water. Because even with a baby, especially I should say with the baby that's developing, you know, you might have a shower filter on your shower, but what about when your baby takes a bath? Little infant that is developing, you know, shot up with all these vaccines and everything. And on top of that, now they're bathing in fluoride, chlorine, chloroform, chloramine. That's going through their pores, pharmaceuticals. That's going through their pores while they are developing. Why? I mean, I'm not surprised that's one of the biggest reasons, what the Lord showed me too. One of the biggest reasons of the cancer outbreak right now around the world is because of water. It's also the air you're breathing, right? The food that you're eating for sure. But one of the main reasons the Lord highlighted is the water that we're drinking. We're going to talk in another week as well. Acidic water. Cancer loves acidic environments. We're going to talk about alkaline environments, which is, you know, somewhat controversial. People think it's not true. Well, I have a lot of people who I know had cancer. They don't have cancer after drinking alkaline water, right? And I'm not talking about alkaline water in the store. I'm talking about, because that's actually all marketing. You want to actually have your own system. If you can afford it, it's worth the investment, right? Arsenic, heavy metals, where we talked about hormones, pharmaceuticals, heavy metals, arsenic, mercury, cadmium. You know, there's no safe level of arsenic in your water, right? There's no safe level of lead in your water either. Sulfur, THMs. THMs are a byproduct of methanes in the water, which I'm going to show you a video about that as well. Forever chemicals. You guys, forever chemicals is a huge one. Forever chemicals I think it was tested in a group of, I think it was like 500 random Americans. They found 99% of the Americans that they test their blood, 99% of them had forever chemicals, which are microplastics, in their blood. Forever chemicals, they don't break down. They're forever, right? They don't have a half-life. They're insolvent, right? They're plastics. You actually, over time, it can come out of the body. There's detoxes you can do as well, which we're going to talk about in the future. I'm going to have some doctors on to talk about detoxing, blood detoxing, liver detoxing, kidney detoxing, right? Formulas that are really good, hard to find on the market because there's so much out there, you guys. There's so many trends. There's so much marketing. It's like, okay, let's just go through what is actually beneficial to us. What is actually going to help us? What are the best remedies? Because I'm telling you, this is what the Lord showed me as well. A lot of times we just blame the devil. Oh, it's the devil's fault. We have a short life. But of course, the devil will attack us. And I'm not trying to be religious here. I know some people may or may not believe in God. That's okay. I'm not trying to be religious, but it's true. A lot of times, we just blame the enemy, the devil. Oh, it's just, no, the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Okay. A lot of times, you're Christian and this is a holy temple, right? But you're eating junk food all the time. I've been there, you guys. I'm not trying to judge anyone. I've been there where I ate terrible, I drank terrible, but I've been more aware the past few years on health and really went down the rabbit hole on what's in everything. So you're going to be blown away. There's a lot I want to show you and how to test your water. Volatile organic compounds, you guys, those are compounds that not only come off of things, in the air, such as if you, for example, move into a new house. When I moved into my new place, I had new paint, new carpeting, new furniture. Everything was new thank you, Jesus. Everything was brand new. But here's the problem. The glue that's in the furniture, the paint, all those off-gassings are chemicals. They're compounds that actually can kill you. At least about 3.2 million deaths a year in just America. Volatile organic compounds. Those can actually also seep into the water system. So those harmful compounds you do not want to breathe in, you do not want to drink, is in our water. So the people that tell me, like I have some family, which I love dearly. I'm not going to mention their names. They might be watching. They just drink tap water. They're like, good tap water. I'm like, what are you talking about? Tap water is terrible. Like, oh, it's good. The water's good in New York. Well, guess what they got for their birthday was a whole house water filter. Cause it's not as good as you think it is, right? You might not see it, you might not smell it, but it's in there, right? Glyphosates, Roundup, this is huge. Another thing that's also, pesticides, herbicides, glyphosates, proven to lead to cancer, proven now. I mean, a lot of these are proven carcinogens, right? It's not safe. And I want to jump into, water bottles. People think, oh, water bottles are, we'll be safe drinking water bottles, Anna. And I used to be there. I used to be like, okay, well, if I can't drink the tap water and I need water, okay, what am I going to drink? Right? I got to get it from somewhere. Well, people think again, tap water, bottled water. Well, do you know that about 40% of water bottles companies put tap water into their bottled water? Do you know that there's an annual test that these factories that make these water bottles, it's an annual testing that the Department of Health conducts? You know that they let the factory know when they're going to come. They let them know we're coming next month. March 14th, we'll be there to test your water. Well, what do you think happens? Everything's clean and tidy, right? And then who knows what happens the rest of the year? I'm not trying to gross you out, but I'm trying to show you just how, I don't want to say rigged the system is, but how much lack of control there is over things that we take for granted. You just buy a bottle of water. I don't know if the lady walked by and sneezed on the bottle. I don't know. Bacteria can grow there. You're drinking it, right? Again, 40% of a lot of bottled water is tap water, fluoride, chloramine, chloroform. You know that Dasani, 75%, this is public. You can research this and Google this. 75% of Dasani is simply Detroit municipal tap water. You probably wonder, why does Dasani taste so terrible? Well, 75% of it is actually tap water. If you look at the back of the bottle, it will say that. Another little thing, actually, a little tip. you always want to look up a UPC code, which is the actual source of the water. For example, you go to Publix, you see, oh, spring water, oh, I'm a mountain water, spring water, you know, put on the side, you know, the microplastics and the BPA and the BPB. By the way, even if they say BPA free, okay, what about BPB? What about the other microplastics, right? What about volatile organic compounds? Okay, forget about that for a second. Spring water. Oh, it's going to be mountain water with maybe a little plastic. Okay. Actually, if you look up the UPC code, even though it says water type spring, if you go down the rabbit hole and you look up the source, it's actually municipal water from Morganton, North Carolina. Yes, it says spring water, but the source is tap water. And you're probably thinking, how in the world did they get away with that? How are they not being sued? Well, it's actually on the bottle. It's actually on, if you look closely, it'll say it'll say the UPC code, which you can look up. Okay, what does that code mean? So unfortunately, there's a lot of checks and balances that go right through and unfortunately are in our water. In fact, I'm going to play some videos. They actually tested some of the companies randomly, and it was so bad. Actually, I'm going to play the video right now. Watch this.
Bottled water is a common alternative, but can be very expensive. Plus, the freshness and purity are often questionable. Based on a 4-year study of over 100 brands of bottled water, the National Resources Defense Council reported that 1/3 of the brands tested had levels of bacteria or carcinogens that exceeded purity guidelines. Plus, over 50 million bottles are disposed of daily in the U.S. alone, causing a serious environmental impact for generations to come.
So look at that, right? You have Aquafina, Dasani brands, bottled purified municipal tap water. And guess what? It's expensive. You're just paying for expensive tap water, right? And people, you know, look, I used to buy the alkaline water in the store because I do believe in alkaline water. It's real. It's a real health benefit. Do you know that, side note, you know, with alkaline water, it only lasts for 10 hours. If you read the back of the bottle, it'll say 9.5 pH alkalinity at bottling. So when they bottled it, so a lot of the stuff, you guys, is marketing. A lot of it is marketing. You know, smart water, I call it dumb water because it's extremely acidic as well. Again, so you have tap water in there. Again, U.S. health regulations allow bottled water to have the same amount of chlorine and chloramine as what? As tap water. It should be illegal. It's a carcinogen. By the way, this is another thing that blows my mind. There's about 250, it's close to even actually 300 chemicals that are banned around the world, that are banned in Europe, that are legal here, that the FDA cleared as a legal chemical. We can have in what? In our furniture, that we can have in the spray bottles you clean your home with. I mean, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about all the toxins in the air. We're going to talk about cleaning supplies. Can't wait to go over that one. And a good remedy for that is steam. High-powered steam, really effective to clean, and it's water, it's a vapor, just dry steam. So we have an amazing system on that as well. So you have, you know, all of this in the water, and it's mind-boggling that, well, what options do we have, right? One of the very common option is, you know, little pitchers.
Another alternative could be the assortment of inefficient carbon filters, which have become available in recent years. They reduce some odor, color, and bad taste, but can become a breeding ground for dangerous bacteria or parasites.
Right? So, well, this slide doesn't believe in alkaline, but that's okay. That's okay. But I mean, these pitchers do not get rid of bacteria. The other thing too, a lot of it does, even fluoride, even pharmaceuticals, it doesn't get rid of it. You want to know why? If you actually shake the pitcher in these little pitchers, it'll rattle, right? What is that? That's usually just a carbon filter. And especially granulated carbon filters, there's not that much filtration going on. I know there's a lot of marketing, you know, 100% this, 100% chlorine, 100% fluoride. And that, imagine that little thing. It's been tested to show the opposite. In fact, one of the companies is actually under a lawsuit because they said they get rid of 100% fluoride and they don't. So again, we're going to talk about ways products that I use in my home that gets rid of 100% fluoride, right? We talked about cancer. We talked about chlorine. Try halomethanes. I want to show you this as well.
Chlorine may form potentially harmful chemical byproducts called trihalomethanes or THMs, such as fluoroform or chloroform. Scientists suspect that trihalomethanes in drinking water may cause thousands of cases of bladder cancer every year and have been linked to colon and rectal cancer, miscarriages, birth defects, and low birth weight.
And we talked about the chlorine, right? Pharmaceuticals, we know, widely found in our tap water, right? I was wanting to show you this, just show you about the chlorine and the cancer. Is this thing gonna play?
Municipal water treatment plants are forced to add additional chemicals, including chlorine, chloramines, ammonia, and fluoride. According to the U.S. Council on Environmental Quality, cancer risk among people drinking chlorinated water is 93% higher than those whose water does not contain chlorine.
How in the world is it legal to have chlorine in our tap water if it leads to 93% of cancers? How in the world are we allowed to have lead, bacteria, right? How are they not filtering the water? So you have, again, pesticides, silt, rust.
Proper hydration with quality water is essential to healthy living. Yet today, the use of pesticides and herbicides, fertilizers, industrial solvents, fuel byproducts, and even prescription medications has become so excessive, they are now commonly found in our groundwater supplies.
Painkillers, blood thinners, and chemotherapy drugs are just some of the substances that are found in your drinking water.
You may think twice before you throw away those old prescription drugs. You might end up drinking them.
Once the water reaches your home, it's loaded with chemicals, bacteria, lead, sediment, and heavy metals. Contaminated water may lead to a variety of health problems.
Okay, so we know this, we went over this. I'm not going to rehash it again. Again, bottled water, you think it's an option. It's really not. If you actually go down the rabbit hole with what's in the water, again, it's expensive and it's also very inconvenient. I used to, you guys, buy gallons and gallons and gallons of water and schlep it up the stairs. I mean, all the time. And it hit me and like, what's really in it? So I really felt my heart to look into it. And I was shocked doing the research. What? 40% of these bottled water companies are using tap water. What the heck am I doing? So, so I recommend actually testing your water. And we're going to talk, let me bring this up. If you have a well, highly recommend doing a water test. This is a company that I recommend people. I'm not affiliated with them, but this is a great water testing company called GoSimpleLab.com. GoSimpleLab.com. There's tons of different tests that they do. You can, if you go down, I think it's on another page, but if you click on get started, it'll show you a lot of different options. You can do, again, well water, highly recommend. City water, it's really always the same thing. The only difference with city water, some city water can have hardness, such as excess salt, right? Just really hydrogen sulfates in the water. Now you want to get a softener, and I'll actually recommend a really good one that I have a lot of people using that love it, that don't require any backwash, they don't require any salt or any storage. But you definitely want to test your water if you have a well. You might think, oh, it's well water, it's clean. Remember I talked about in the beginning, you're hitting these aquifers. You do not know what's in the water. Okay, sometimes you can smell, and people tell me, okay, well, my water smells. Okay, what does it smell like? Oh, it smells like rotten eggs. Okay, usually that's sulfur, which is the hydrogen sulfide in the water, right? That's that egg smell. Some people tell me, sometimes the smell is also silica. Silica is an oxide agent, and not an agent, but it's an oxide solvent. And a lot of times it interacts with calcium and it leads to an odor. So sometimes you actually have silica in the water. Sometimes it's bacteria in the water that has a smell. Sometimes it's, a fungus in there. Sometimes people tell me, oh, it's the color. Okay, if it's the color, what color is it? Because if it's purple, if you have like a water line, after you take a shower or a bath or after you wash your hands, if you see a purple line, a lot of times that is manganese will lead to a purple color. If you have, I'm trying to pull this up right now. I'm going to pull up our website. By the way, you can feel free to check out more info and more videos on healthyhometechs.com. It's the website, the Lord had me put together, but I'm going to talk about the whole house water filter. There's a ton of different things. Under the sink filter, which by far the best one I found on the market. Shower filter we'll talk about. The iron mag. This is a really good one. So if you have purple, that's the manganese. If you have lead, right, you're going to have an orange color like this. So if your water looks like this, I mean, and my sister, I think she's still on the call. She's got this kind of water, you know, babe, we got to get you one of these. I know she's moving to a new house. That's why she hasn't gotten it yet. But if you have orange, that's iron, right? Some people have lead in their water. Look what happens as well with the iron, and also with calcium, does the same thing with pipes. So sometimes, you know, not only is the city water terrible, but then it's going through your pipes. Let's say you lived in a house for, you know, I don't want to say 300-year-old house, but let's say it's a 100-year-old house or a 50-year-old house or even 60-year-old house, right? You actually have a lot of times. I have two clients who just they just changed all their pipes in their home because unfortunately they lived in a 60-year-old home and they had these problems. I said, well, you can actually clean it. Like there's solutions you can actually put through it. Run it through, it'll clean the pipe, and then you want to maintain the pipe by having a filter system on your home. Because what happens is with, you see the iron and the sulfur and also the calcium, right, that hard water, it will actually affect the pipes. It'll stick to the pipe. That's the problem with hard water. They stick to the pipe and it calcifies, it closes down the pipe. The water level pressure is actually a little faster because of all that pressure that's pushing the water through, but also, you know, it affects the flow. And so on top of that, it also affects your appliances. And I talk to people who tell me, Anna, you know, I have to keep changing my washing machine. I have to keep changing my dishwasher. It's because of the calcium. It's because of the hard water in the water. So there's a system I recommend for hard water. So, and I'll show you that in a second, but so you want to maintain your pipes, right? You want to clean your pipes and maintain them. Look, so you have, yeah, I'm gonna show you these pictures. So there's that one. These are the pipes. These are calcified and iron as well. I mean, it's gross. And unfortunately, it's a real thing. People have these problems. So let me go back. Yeah, and I'll talk about the solution in a second. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? By the way, feel free to put any questions you guys have as well in the chat box. I'm going to talk about how to purify it in a second. I want to show you a few more things here. Softeners, right? We talked about hard water. What's the problem with softeners? They take up a lot of space, right? They don't get rid of bacteria in the water. They're costly, a lot to maintain. You know, you have like the big tank and then you got the big salt tank. You got to keep adding salt in there all the time and keep replacing it every month. It's super expensive, super inconvenient. Imagine schlepping, I don't know how the guys do it. They schlep this bag of salt to clean the water and all the hardness, which again is the calcium. Right. And they're not filters. People think that softeners are filters. I have talked to many people say, oh, I just have a softener. Well, it's a lot of maintenance. Okay. But it doesn't filter anything. Distillers are a great way to filter your water. They really are. It makes really good, pure water. Unfortunately, it requires electricity and it's actually very expensive to maintain. If you do not maintain your distiller, it's really not as effective as they should be. So it's expensive and it's a pain in the butt with maintenance. So let me show you.
Another option is distilled water. However, it's expensive and the distillation process removes all the healthful minerals, giving it a bland, flat taste.
Maybe because it's pure water, right? There's no minerals in there. Reverse osmosis is a big one. I have a lot of people tell, oh, reverse osmosis, Anna, I love it. Well, I was into it when I first started looking into it. But then I realized as well, also very, very high maintenance, extremely high maintenance. You might spend $300 or $350 the first time you buy reverse osmosis. But the problem is that number one, you need a massive storage tank under your sink to hold that reservoir of clean water. It gets rid of, you know, they say, oh, we get rid of everything, chlorine, fluoride, you know, pharmaceuticals. Okay, but it doesn't get rid of bacteria, number one. And that storage tank is a great place for bacteria to grow. The other thing too, the filtration is drip by drip, drip by drip. You actually, they don't advertise this, but if you do the research, if you really look into how much it filters, it actually wastes a lot of water. So only 1 gallon out of 5 gets filtered. Only 1 gallon out of 5 gallons gets filtered. So what does that mean? The other 4 gallons, you're wasting it. So how much money is that costing you, right? You're wasting water. Like I used to spend so much money on gallons of water. Remember I told you I used to schlep it up the stairs. A gallon of water is almost the same price as a gallon of gas. It's about $2.50, $3 some places. By the way, stay away from any water that says purified. Run. There's a reason why at Costco it's $1.30 for a case of like 24. Run. It's the worst water that I tested. besides all the contaminants in it, the carcinogens and the plastics, it's also very acidic, extremely acidic water. Guess what? Cancer loves. I'm going to have a doctor coming on our class one of these weeks, very soon coming up. Cancer loves acidic environments. So unfortunately, reverse osmosis actually makes very, very acidic water, which I really don't like that part. So it also doesn't remove chlorine, volatile organic compounds. That's huge, you guys. VOCs that from the air go in our water, right? Chloramine, THMs, right? Trihalomethanes. Takes up a lot of space, wastes a lot of water. 1 out of 5 gallons you can actually use. And again, drip by drip. I had a guy who was like, no, I love reverse osmosis. I said, trust me, get this under the sink filter. You're going to love it. It gets rid of everything and the chloramines and the chloroform and the pharmaceuticals, 100% fluoride, 100% forever chemicals. And it's a continuous filtration, which I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. This company just released this technology 2 weeks ago. Phenomenal. And I said, it's a continuous filtration. You don't just have to make tea. You can actually cook with it. You can make soups, you can make coffees, your teas, right? There's just so many, you can take a shower with your filtered water. You can make baths. I mean, I love the continuous filtration. The thing is, there's not many good ones on the market. So let's talk about some solutions that I recommend. Number one, I really love this company. Again, you guys, I've tried to find the best technology around the world. I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, which one do I get? And I do a lot of research. There's a company that I am blown away by. I was just at their convention actually 2 weeks ago. The team was there as well. And we were blown away with the new technology that they just released. So let me actually just first play you a video of it. And then I will go over a little bit more details. But there's 2 options, by the way. If you're in a house, I highly recommend getting a whole house water filter. If you're in an apartment, and you don't have a house, you at least you want your sink water clean so you can drink filtered water. Well, this is for you. If you want to get an under the sink filter. Actually, in fact, I say this to customers as well. I say, listen, I mean, this is what I would do. And I have, my pastors and my friends, they have houses, they have a whole house water filter and they do a double filtration, which I highly recommend to put and use under the sink. So this is the under the sink filter. It's a brand new technology. They released it 2 weeks ago. In fact, I'll say this as well. The guy that invented this technology, which again, gets rid of 100% fluoride, 100% forever chemicals, chlorines, chloroforms, pharmaceuticals. I mean, it's the best one on the market. And now that they upgraded to even better technology, when they heard about this technology, when there was a guy that came to the company and said, listen, this is the most advanced filtration you'll find. And the company didn't necessarily believe him because it sounded too good to be true. They actually called someone in the NSF. If anyone knows what the NSF is, it's one of the best, most reputable, independent clinical trial companies out there. If you ever have any kind of, bottles or pills or technologies that have NSF certified check mark next to it, that means it went through extremely, extremely vigorous reviews and tests, not on animals, but testing, where they see what they say is exactly what they saw. It's one of the best certifications, independent certification clinical trials there is on the market. Now, one of the guys in the company called the NSF, one of the directors in the NSF, he said, hey, let me ask you, is this technology too good to be true? 100% forever chemicals, 100% fluoride, under the sink, just this little thing, is it possible? And the director said, because the technology has positive and negative ions, the director said, we've been waiting for this technology for 35 years. So again, you guys, this is what I use in my home. It's phenomenal. It's a little bit complicated. Don't worry about all the little excessive things that it explains. I'm going to go over in a second.
Nutritech Disruptor Water Purification System. An innovative new technology that breaks away from the brittle old materials of the past and replaces it with a better way. A way that purifies and protects based on a NASA-derived technology that eliminates pathogens by electroadsorption. This patented innovation uses special microglass nanofibers pleated for maximum surface area. This eliminates 99.9999% of viruses, bacteria, and
it's actually 99.399s. They're not allowed to say 100%. You're not allowed to say anything kills 100%. That's why Lysol say 99.999%. Yeah, you're not allowed to say 100%. So 99.399s.
Microbial pathogens while delivering maximum water flow and longer cartridge life. Here's how it works. Stage 1. As water enters the system, the exclusive large porous outer membrane made from food-grade sustainable silicon accelerates the high-volume water flow. As the electropositive membrane gets covered, a strong positively charged ionic field gets activated simply from contact with the water.
I want to say this right here. So this is new because there's nothing on the market that has a positive, they have silicon, food grade silicon that they're using here. There's nothing on the market that has a positive charged filtration system to start with. A lot of the contaminants in the water are negatively charged. Some of them are gases, right, which aren't charged, but most contaminants are negatively charged as well. There's also gram-negative bacteria, there's gram-positive bacteria, right? So it's going to actually create an electrostatic environment, kill the bacteria, kill cysts, not allow them to grow as well, obviously, because they're being killed, and also clear out contaminants.
Then the positive nanofibers eliminate the negatively charged pathogens by counteracting its chemical makeup, virtually destroying it on contact. This stage is a game changer. This is the only system in the world that will remove 100% of the harmful forever chemical PFAS.
You guys, I've looked for years for something that gets rid of not just chlorine, chloroform, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, but 100% forever chemicals. There is nothing out there that, I mean, there are actually a few things that are pretty close, like 97, 98%, but not 100%. And I've had people say, Anna, do you have anything with 100%? I mean, all answer was always no, because I couldn't find, there's nothing there. This is a brand new technology. You can see the videos aren't even that great because it's literally, they just released it 2 weeks ago. They're still working on like videos and marketing and things like that, but 100% forever chemicals. The reason why, so you have that silicone grade, food grade silicone on the outside, that's the positive charge. Now, when they go through that microfibers here, what they don't say it in the video, there's 3 trillion pores. 3 trillion pores. In each pore can hold 7 contaminants. 7 contaminants. On top of that, which means, by the way, it doesn't clog, right? Most under the sink filters, you have to keep changing the filters. Reverse osmosis, you got to change it every 3 months. That's expensive. You might think, oh, it's going to be cheap at first. No, it's super expensive to maintain. It's a pain in the butt. Okay. This is a continuous filtration, constant filtration. You can fill up soups and water and you clean your vegetables and you're drinking it, getting rid of all the harmful things in the water. But on top of that, you don't need to maintain it. You don't need to take it out and clean it. There's another system they used to have that you have to take it out every 6 months and, do a scrub with a sponge. There's 3 trillion pores. On top of the fact that you don't have to, change it. Another reason why is because the technology itself, the positive and the negative ions, it actually will break down the compound. For example, chlorine gas is dangerous for us, right? Chloride that it's actually changing it to is not harmful for us. So also with like pharmaceuticals, it's going to break it down in the compounds, right? Hydrogen, oxygen, water. So it's going to change it to compounds that are not harmful for us. So it's actually changing compounds. Some of the compounds that are not broken down are actually stuck there in the pore, and you don't have to keep cleaning it and maintaining it. It's for like, I'll show you the different sizes, but you don't need to change it for like 4 years, 3-4 years with some of the filters under the sink. It's phenomenal.
It eliminates 99.99% of Cryptosporidium, Giardia lamblia cysts, E. coli, Salmonella, as well as harmful pathogenic bacteria and viruses. It will stop particles 500 times smaller than the thickness of a human hair. As the water reaches stage 2, the custom blend inner core of catalytic carbon block.
This is one of my favorite things about the filter. On top of those 2 layers, there's a 3rd layer. It's not granulated carbon that you shake it and you can hear all the carbon flying around. It's a solid carbon block. Solid carbon block, an activated carbon actually, and resins as well.
An advanced resins removes or reduces a long list of harmful contaminants.
Another thing they actually don't mention in the video, the solid carbon block also has silver ions in there on top of it. I mean, this is so cool.
Such as chlorine, pesticides, herbicides, chloramine, mercury, lead, arsenic, THMs, and much more. The water is then finalized in stage 3. a special compressed coconut shell carbon that removes any remaining contaminants while giving the water a sweeter taste.
which is bad odor, bad taste that it gets rid of. You guys, man, it is by far one of the best systems I found on the market. It goes under the sink, right? Again, if you're in an apartment, this is perfect. If you have a house, I also recommend it, right? There's 3 different sizes. This is a 20-inch. There's a 10-inch, 15-inch, 20-inch. Okay. The 20-inch is the one that gets rid of 100% fluoride, 100% of forever chemicals, 99, 98% of everything else. If you mix this with the whole house water filter, which I'm going to show you gets rid of about 98%, 99%, 97% as a primary filter. If you have a secondary filter like this, you'll get rid of any little thing that flew through the whole house system. So I really do recommend both. But glyphosates, look at this. I have not found anything on the market that gets rid of glyphosates, right? Arsenic. Now, where it says 80% fluoride, with the 20-inch, it's 100%. So with this one, it's 100% fluoride. You can use any speed of water you want. It will be 100% forever chemical, 100% fluoride on all the others, right? But if you have a 15-inch that's a little smaller, it has less surface area. So what you want to do to also get 100% and 100%, fluoride, 100% forever chemicals, you want to slow down the water speed. The 10-inch one, I don't really recommend, you guys, because the 10-inch one, it's missing that coconut shell carbon on the bottom, which really helps with bad odor, bad taste, and a few other things. So you definitely want to, let me just close this thing. You want to, if you want to look into it, go to healthyhometechs.com. But I want to show you the whole house water filter. It's one of my favorite things. I'm so grateful. I've been looking for years for a good water filter company. I mean, there's so many water filter companies out there that a lot of them are softeners, for heavy, for hard water. But again, it doesn't filter. These are actually a bunch of my clients, because I got to tell you guys, I never thought I would be, sharing technologies and having a team where we share healthy technologies with many people, and now we're doing like a, free class for the public to learn what's in their water, what's in the air, right? How do you clean it? How do you purify? Which I actually want to share a few more things about, water purification. But then the Lord said, your ministry, you're not just a full-time pastor with your church, but you're also ministering to not just the soul and the body, but the soul and the spirit, but also the body. The body is heavily neglected. And, when we talked about it before, we're attacked all the time. And because of ignorance and sometimes willful disobedience, we don't take care of our temples. There's other guys, water tests you guys can do. There's pH testers, pH drops. Those are great. There's water tests you can do, from Amazon. It's good. You can actually test especially the well water. You can do tests at home, $20, $30. You can also, like I said before, test your water, put a little sample of your water and send it into like a company like GoSimpleLab.com, right? You can test TDS, right? The total dissolved solvents. This is one of the gimmicks that they actually use with reverse osmosis. They do the TDS test, beware of it, because the total dissolved solvents, what they do is when you come in your home, they test, oh my God, you have 1,500 contaminants in your water. You got to get rid of everything. Well, we talked about a lot of the bad things in the water. There's actually some good things in the water, right? Minerals, sodium, calcium, potassium. Every single cell in our body needs it, including our neurons, right? Every cell in our body needs sodium, calcium, potassium. Why? Because there's actually a polarity on all of our cells. On the inside of the cells, it's negatively charged. On the outside of our cells, it's positively charged, right? So you actually do need some contaminants. You need some minerals, right? And again, we talked about reverse osmosis, where it's not the best one that I found. But a whole house system is phenomenal. It will take out the bad and keep in the good. It connects right to the main water line, right? This is all the things it gets rid of, which we talked about before, all the things that are bad. It gets rid of this. Some of them 100%, some of them 97, 98%, which is the best I found on the market. There's 2 different sizes. One, the tall one cleans 750,000 gallons. The smaller one, 500,000 gallons. Pretty great. Or actually really great. And you normally would change the filter for the smaller one every 3 years, 4 years, and the bigger one every 5 to 6 years. They actually just released a new technology where it's actually a composition, a solvent that you can actually put through. By the way, if anyone's joining here and you're a customer and you bought the whole house system, guess what? You don't have to change it you don't have to change the media. They don't have to change the filters every 4 to 6 years anymore. You can actually just get this super oxy regeneration fluid, pour it down the whole house system, and it will actually revert the carbon back to 99.5% efficiency. What does that mean? You don't have to keep paying $2,000 or $1,500 every 4 or 5 years changing the media. You actually just pour this liquid down. It will last. If you do that, once every 3-4 years, just pour the media with the backwash. Your media in there will last for 25 years. You don't have to keep buying replacements, you guys. It's like you're saving money and you got the best of the best. I want to show you some of the clinical trials done in this whole house system. Not only does it get rid of forever chemicals, and I'll show you this one, the certificate. And I look through everything, you guys. I mean, look, and that's why I tell people, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Do your own research. I've done this research for years. That's why I was astounded by this company, Carico, established in 1967. By the way, if you go on their website, you can't take any orders on the phone or via email. They don't sell in Costco, right? You actually have to call like a certified distributor. I'm actually a certified distributor with them. So if you want to, find out more about their technologies, or you want to order a system or get more info, just email me, Anna@healthyhometechs.com, Anna@healthyhometechs.com. Okay, this is their forever chemical removal certificate. So not only the point of use, which is the under the sink filter, right? That carbon block, the 15 and the 20 inches. Remember I told you the 10, stay away from the 10 inch, 15 and 20 inch. Forever, it will get rid of, as long as the flow rate is between 0.5 gallons per minute. Again, that's only for the 15 inch. The 20 inch will actually do 100% of it at any speed. The point of use meets or exceeds the EPA requirements for PFAS removal. Well, the good thing is it's actually 100% removal. So not only the point of use, but also the whole house system at a speed of about 8 gallons per minute. So here's the other cool thing about the system, the whole house system and under the sink system. You don't need electricity. There's a lot of water filters on the market. You need electricity. Well, I'm in Florida. God forbid there's a hurricane. God forbid there's an emergency. We have hurricanes here all the time, right? I'm in Tampa, so it's not so bad on the west side. On the east side with Orlando and West Palm, and actually, we were hit with Hurricane Ian that hit the west side, which was horrible. It was actually heading right towards Tampa, and we said, Lord, in Jesus' name, don't hit Tampa. It actually veered away and went to Naples and hit, unfortunately, Sarasota. I mean, we didn't want it to hit anywhere, but unfortunately, emergencies happen. So here's the cool thing about the whole house water filter. It does not use electricity. It only uses the pressure, right? The PCI, the water pressure from the city, which is about normally, 60 to 70 PCI. So it's water pressure. Bam. So if God forbid there's an emergency, you can still get filtered water. Granted, as long as the municipal water is still being, being flowed from the city to your house. If you have a well, you're in even better condition because, it's an extremely emergency situation that the city would turn off the water. That would be like an extreme, like what's happening in Israel and Palestine. I'm not going to go there politically, but look, the water shut off there. You can turn it off and on, but really it never happens in an emergency. Even when I volunteered by God's grace at some hurricanes, and Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Sandy in New Jersey, Hurricane Harvey in Texas, they were still running water. Like there was still, city water coming in, but unfortunately their filters didn't work. Well, you have a system that does not use electricity, so it will filter the water. You'll be the only one on the whole block. It's going to have filtered water in emergency. So it's so important to think of these things because you never know, emergencies are happening more and more around the world, unfortunately. This is the clinical trials. This is on the website. So this is why I love this company, because they make everything very transparent. Volatile organic compounds, right? Dichlorofluoromethane. You can go through all of this. MTBEs, you have toluene over here. You have 98% reduction, 97, 99, 98, 99. This is the best company I found with cleaning the water, you guys, the best one. It's so important to get a water filter. We talked about everything that's in there, right? Your shower's filtered, your bath is filtered, right? Your drinking water, you're cleaning your fruits and vegetables. By the way, do you guys know that when you clean your fruits and vegetables under tap water, and I can do this test here in front of you. Normally when I actually, meet clients in their home and I show them a water test, if I cut up a piece of apple, I should have actually done that. I just realized if I cut up a piece of apple and I take a cup of tap water and I test the tap water with, chlorine drops, it's going to turn yellow, right? Chlorine turns yellow when it's tested. If there's no chlorine, it won't turn yellow. It's going to be crystal clear white, right? Now, what I do another test where I take that tap water, right? I tested in one cup and then I took more tap water and then I cut up an apple and I throw the apple into the tap water. I let it sit there for, kid you not, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever. Let it sit there. Then take out the apple and test it with the chlorine drops. You know what color it turns? Not yellow. There's no chlorine in there anymore. It looks crystal clear. You know where the chlorine went? Into the apple. So your fruits and your vegetables actually absorb the chlorine. Again, chlorine leads to cancers. 95% of breast cancers are caused by chlorine. 93% of cancers in total are caused by chlorine. People cook rice in tap water. I hope it's filtered because that chlorine, same thing when we tested it with the rice. The rice absorbed the chlorine, so you're eating it, right? So you want to actually obviously get rid of it, right? So volatile organic compounds, you can look through this. Heavy metals, right? Aluminum, arsenic, look, it gets rid of 95% arsenic. That's actually still, it's still kind of a high level. If you have a lot of arsenic, if you have extreme levels of arsenic, there is another system I would recommend on top of the whole house system, which I'll show you, which is called the iron mag. So arsenic, cadmium, chromium, 99, 99.5, 97, mercury, nickel, zinc. Sometimes people have extra iron as well. I mean, this guy gets rid of what, 97.9% iron from the water. That's phenomenal. Now, if you have excess iron, I'm going to show you again that iron mag you want to add on to the whole house system. You should get both the whole house and the iron mag. Some people just get the iron mag, but you have all these things in the water. Now, again, this is really for, it works on well water, but this is really for city water because city water has all of this usually, right? Pesticides, herbicides, right? Here's the pesticides, right? You can go through this, the herbicides, semi-volatile organic compounds and contaminants. You want to look through that. I mean, really great numbers, 97, 98, 99. Man, you have semi-volatile, you have disinfectants, right? Chloramines, right? Free chlorine, fluoride. This is why I tell people a whole house system is great. It's really good numbers from what I found, really great numbers compared to other companies. Unfortunately, there's still some still some of the contaminants in your water. I would recommend on top of a whole house system. I know I kind of sound like a broken record, but I would also recommend getting an under the sink filter to do a double filtration if you're going to drink it, right? This is a great filter. But if you're going to drink the water, I do recommend putting also an under the sink filter. Now, herbicides, pharmaceuticals, look at this, 97, 98%. You guys, there's other systems on the market that I found. 40% pharmaceutical removal, 30%. I have not found anything with 90, these numbers. I said, my God, this is a really, really good company. This is independent reviewed. So, I called the company. I said, listen, I find healthy home technologies and I put it all in one place for my customers. I need to be a part of this. Like I need to have this on my website. I need to educate people on what's in our water, right? And they said, no problem. So here is the whole house water filter that I showed. Okay, you guys can go through this healthyhometext.com with it, CHTECHS.com. Okay, there's two sizes. Just you look through this, you can actually find that document that I just went over here. Right. Let me show you the actual stages of filtration. This is really cool. Again, the best one I found, they have about 40 to 50 pounds of granulated carbon in a huge amount, which is very, very efficient against a lot of the contaminants that we were talking about. Where's that whole house filter? Here it is. And here are the stages. There's 8.
The high capacity cartridge comes with multiple options and will purify.
Okay. It opened up every single video. That was weird. Okay. Let me show you this.
Water enters the system and is filtered through the
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. All right, here we go. Bam. They say 7 stages. It's actually 8 stages, but that's okay. And it'll show you all of it.
Water enters the system and is filtered through the first 2 stages.
And you're like, where's the water entering? This is the main shutoff valve. This goes to the main shutoff valve in your home. Let me actually show you this real quick. So if you're in the South, your main shutoff valve is usually outside your house in the South, right? Because your pipes don't freeze, your water doesn't freeze, right? If that's the main shutoff valve. They recommend to put it on a slab of concrete, right? So then there's like the main shutoff valve pipings. It comes with the hookup kit piping. There's 3 different sizes of pipes, usually 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch. I always tell people, take a picture of the surrounding area, make sure it's going to fit. If it's outside, it's usually going to fit. If you're in the north, if you're up north, a lot of times your main shutoff valve is actually inside, not outside, inside. For example, your garage, sometimes you might have a main shutoff valve in a closet or even by the water heater sometimes as well. So you want to, take a look, take a picture, see if it's going to fit. There's 2 different sizes. But that's where it's going to go. It's going to go main shutoff valve. So that way your whole house is filtered, your tap water, your drinking water, I should say, your shower water, your bath water, everything is filtered. For me, what I love about having whole house filters is my hair used to get so dry. My skin would get so dry from the chlorine in the water, right? So it's so amazing to have clean hair. It's not dry. It's not cracking. My skin is so much more hydrated. It's because of filter systems, you guys. It's amazing.
Caraco's exclusive blend of carbon, which removes or reduces chlorine, sediment, volatile organic compounds, herbicides, heavy metals, THMs, plus bad taste and odors. Stage 3 uses our special blend of activated carbon and resins to naturally reduce or remove pesticides, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, sulfur, lead, mercury, and much more. As it reaches the 4th stage, Caraco's DS composite, it gives your water a softer feel and prevents scale buildup. Stage 5, an NSF certified KDF 55 filtration media, controls bacteria, algae, and fungi, even in hot water. It further reduces chlorine, pesticides, organic matter, hydrogen sulfide, and heavy metals, such as lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic. The process continues in stage 6, a high-density garden bed designed to remove any remaining carbon fines and sediment. And finally, your water is perfected in stage 7, our breakthrough magnetic field technology that reverses the hard water condition and replicates soft water behavior without the use of salt or electricity. When you magnetize water, the randomly oriented molecules transform into an ordered matrix, allowing them to be swept away by the water instead of clustering together and building up on pipes. It gives the water a softening effect without removing the helpful minerals.
So that stage 7, it's actually really stage 8. That stage 8, with that magnet, it's really cool. I seen the magnet. I was actually in the facility. By the way, these are all made in America. Most of the companies are either made in America, made in Italy. We don't have anything made in China, thank God. But made in America, made in Italy, made in Slovenia, made in Poland. There's some really, really, really great technologies, which again we'll cover over the weekend. You might be thinking, well, why are you plugging anything in? Well, if I'm going to give you a problem, and we know there's a big problem with the water, I also want to offer a solution. That's why the Lord said, educate them. And we know, a lot of us are educated, fine, praise God. But really the little nitty gritty details that you may or may not be aware of, that I wasn't aware of, that I've learned, that I want to share with you guys. Some of the things we don't think about. Okay, you have a shower filter. What about when you take a bath, right? What about babies, right? So things that we talked about. If you, by the way, missed it, I'm going to actually have a recording as well. So if you want to watch anything over, but I want to offer a solution. And I have this for me, all my family has one, my pastors have one, not even one, they have a whole house filter, under the sink filter. Now, remember when I talked about the iron? I actually had let me show you this. Remember when I talked about the lab testing, right? You can do your lab testing. Again, it's gosimplelab.com, not affiliated with them, but they're great. I had a client send me his lab results. He had 5 harmful, exceeded the health limit of things in his water. And I'll actually show you this. Like he has, a bunch of stuff tested for it. He doesn't have any pharmaceuticals in the water. He has well water, which obviously, usually well water doesn't have pharmaceuticals in there. Again, you'll have herbicides, pesticides from the farms. You'll have sometimes uranium, arsenic, lead, iron, right? Old pipes. Also, if there's power plants near your door, silica sometimes. By the way, it says here, if you look at on this, there's 3 different categories here it goes over, like the harmful levels, plumber's level, and then also the aesthetic benchmark, exceeds at the aesthetic benchmark. What that means is the, 5 senses, odor, smell, taste. It's safe, but it exceeds the limit of in terms of like odor and taste and color. Sometimes it's not clear water, it's kind of opaque, but it's not a dangerous level, but it's opaque. Look, I wouldn't want to have it in there. I want to get rid of it. The silica, which I'm going to talk about, the iron mag that gets rid of the silica. But with this guy, with this gentleman, look, lithium, manganese, right, that turns purple, right? These are all health concerns for him. Arsenic, lead, uranium, right? He did have a level of iron. It wasn't too bad, but the uranium is a benchmark. That's a problem. He's actually, a lot of times when you have uranium in the water, it's because there's a power plant not far away. So if you have a power plant not far away, just like, again, we're going this weekend to visit this community, Loxahatchee, Florida, Loxahatchee, however you pronounce it. I think it's Loxahatchee, Florida. They have a huge cluster of brain tumors. Not far from them, there is a power plant. And sure enough, just like in Flint, Michigan, that was going into their water. I'm trying to find this aquifer picture to show you the well water. Guess I can't find it. Okay. Should have had it pulled up before. But anyway, let me just keep going. Let me show you so with him, what I recommended with the iron and the sulfur and the uranium and the lead in there, iron mag. This is a separate system where you have a whole house water filter. You got the under the sink filter. With him, I said I would also recommend getting an iron mag. This thing does run on electricity, but it will get rid of a lot of the problems. Iron, magnesium, manganese, sulfur, which is the hydrogen sulfides, right? And other chemical oxidants such as, uranium. So this is really good. This thing will last you 10 years without having to change the filter. So it's actually going to clean about, over 500,000 gallons. It'll last for 10 years without having to change the filter. So iron mag system, essential for addressing concerns. Iron, also, by the way, silica and phosphates. Actually, let me open this little other page for you. Silica and phosphates, a lot of technologies, it's not cleaned. So silica and is it here? Yeah. Let me open this real quick. Actually, the silica is really with the hard water. I'll show you that in a second. But yep, the iron, yep, manganese and sulfur, uranium as well. If you have uranium in the water, as long as you have iron in the water, the system will actually also get rid of the uranium. So iron and uranium and chemical oxides, magnesium, manganese, and sulfur. And actually with the silica, something else I wanted to show you. With the silica and the hard water, which again, silica and calcium, a lot of them create that like that layer of hardness. You're drinking it, or sometimes even if you ever taken a shower, your skin is slimy. Why? Because you're not able to, the shampoo and the conditioner, it's hard to come off. You feel like a snake when you have hard water because it's not really efficient, right? You got to get rid of the calcium. So the calcium, I'll show you this. Yeah. Is it here? Yep. There we go. Phosphates, sulfates, and also the silica. You guys can read through this. I'm happy to read it as well. Okay. Over time. Okay. So this is a saltless softener. Actually, it's not a softener, it's a conditioner. So remember I said you need when you have hard water, you have a big tank, then you got a storage tank. You got to keep putting the salt in. Well, not with this system. This is also brand new technology released about 8 months ago. No salt needed. It's going to condition and address calcium, magnesium, sulfates, phosphates, and silica. A lot of the salt conditioners and salt or softeners on the market, they actually don't address the phosphates and the silica. What this is going to do, it's not that it gets rid of the calcium. With this guy, this is why it's not a softener, it's a conditioner. What this guy is going to do, it's actually going to encapsulate the calcium. So it's going to make it feel softer. So by encapsulating the calcium, it can't stick to the pipes. So it's not sticking to the pipes. It's not damaging your appliances. It goes right through. Right? It goes right through your pipes. It doesn't stick there. You don't have to change your pipes. I had a guy literally change his pipes. I've been telling him for years, I said, you need to get a whole house water filter and you also need a softener. He was like, a conditioner. He said, well, no, I don't need it. He had terribly old pipes. They burst. He had a massive water leak in the basement. He spent $15,000 on the water leak. He also had to change his pipes. $15,000. He called me. He goes, Anna, you're right. I need that whole house filter. I need the softener. I go, I know. I was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. That really sucks. So we actually had a team that went out to his neighborhood to let people know, listen, you have really hard water here. We would highly recommend before your pipes burst, or, you keep changing your appliances and, deal with my friend Ed had to go through, you should get a conditioner. So this is really good in the fact that it will actually soften really, really hard water, even a grain level of hardness, even at number 18, which is the hardest of the hardest water. It will actually take it down. So it creates a coat around it. So again, another thing too, calcium. Calcium is healthy. It's a healthy mineral for us to have, right? You don't want to have too much salt in the water. You don't want to drink too much salt, but it's actually healthy for you. But it damages our pipes. It's also uncomfortable when you're taking a shower, right? But yeah, here it is. Even sustainable for a grain of 18 grains of hardness. That's extremely hard. Normally anything under 7 is not bad, but it's not really hard. Anything from 7 to 10 is considered grain level of hard, right? Anything over 13, 14, anywhere, from 13, 14 to 18, or actually I should say, 13, 14 to 18, that's extremely hard water. You definitely want to get a conditioner. Again, you can get a softener, but the maintenance is a pain in the butt. You got to keep changing it. You got to keep backwashing it, right? You got to keep buying new salt. That's why I really love the saltless conditioner, saltless softener, really, really good. Okay. I'm happy to answer any questions if you want to put it in the chat box. But if you want to find out more info, you're able to email us. You can email us at info@healthyhometechs.com. We have a team that is ready to answer your questions. You can also call us as well with questions, prices, deals, specials. We always do, different deals and specials, but we want to be able to show you, and you can read through the clinical trials on each product. Shower filter. If you're in an apartment, right? If you're in an apartment and you can't get a house filter, you should at least get a shower filter and at least an under the sink filter. If you're in a house, if you could, and I'm telling you, I double up, because again, you're drinking the water, right? Whole house system under the filter. Some people have well water. Well, with well water, the Iron Mag is phenomenal, but you have to test your water. You don't want to buy extra things. I have people email me, oh, I need all 3. I go, you probably don't. Please test your water first. I say, test your water, send me the results. I'll let you know what you need. And so they let me know. I go, you only need the Iron Mag. Your water's pretty good. Or you need a water filter and an Iron Mag. Or sometimes you need a whole house filter and a conditioner, right? Very rarely you need all 3. So you don't need to get every single product, right? You want to test your water first, address the issue, and have the best purified water that you can, but you don't have to get everything, usually. Very rarely do. Okay. I'm going to end it here, you guys. It's been, oh my God, an hour and 20 minutes of purification, water, info. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you were sent here by, some of the team members here, feel free to reach out to them for questions. We're going to continue this series every single week. We're going to go over different health concerns. Next week, we're going to go over air. What's in the air that we are breathing? What are the contaminants? How does it affect our body? How do we purify? How do we clean? How can we take the power of the outside sun, nature, and bring it inside our home to really clean effectively? Because you actually are not getting sick outside, you're really getting sick inside, where we spend 90% of the time indoors. Okay, what do you recommend for, oh, great question. Love this question, Nicholas. What do you recommend when you go on the road and you don't have access to your home water? Great question. So when I'm on the road and I travel a lot, obviously, I can't take my whole house filter, right? I can't take my under the sink filter. What I usually do, unfortunately, is the best water that I tested on the market was Fiji water. That was the best one, even though microplastics, forever chemicals, and there were some contaminants I found in there as well, but it wasn't as bad as the other water bottle companies. So when I'm on the road, and if I'm next to my home, I have filtered water, and I'll take a big mason jar with me. Glass mason jar, that's great. If I'm local, right? But if I travel, unfortunately, I have to buy bottled water. The best one I found, I tested is Fiji. Best one I found. A little pricey, but it's worth it because it's actual real spring water. So that's really good. The other thing too, what I also take on the road, especially when I'm on the road, I should say, with me is something called the H2 fuel. which, so you put filtered water in there and then it also hydrogenates it. So it actually puts hydrogen gas in the water. So it's actually going to make the water antioxidant. One of these days, I'm going to go over it as well, but let me share the screen and show you. This is the H2 fuel, really cool. You got to put filtered water in there first, right? You don't want to put tap water, right? Whether I put Fiji in there if I'm traveling, and it actually makes it antioxidant. It's called the H2 fuel. It's also on the website too. And it improves the water taste, right? The reason is because it also releases ozone, so it kills bacteria. Ozone is actually really healthy for you. Cancer can't survive in 3 environments: ozone, oxygenated state, and an alkaline state, which I'm going to go over all of them in the future. In fact, I'm actually going to have a friend, hopefully, Dr. Rick Gamboa, who was supposed to come in here, but he looks at things under the microscope, and he's going to go over with us all the different places. He can't like say it publicly, it kills cancer, because he's like a scientist. He's not supposed to say kills, but he's seen that cancer could survive in those environments, if you get the drift. He looks at things under the microscope. So he's going to actually go over with us a lot of things that he's seen and mind like boggling. Yes, there's also yes, thank you, Greg. There's also a portable filter you can have as well. Greg, which one are you talking about? I mean, there's a little portable one that gets rid of chlorine and some contaminants, but when I'm on the road, yeah, I mean, the portable filter is, it's not like too great. So I usually stick with Fiji when I travel. And then when I get home, I'm excited because I finally have my crystal clear water. In fact, actually, my pastor in California, she has the whole house water filter. She has the under the sink filter, and she also has, the living water machine that makes alkaline water. She lives in California. I went to go visit her because I travel there often. So when I travel to my family or I travel to my pastor, I'm like super happy because they got all the systems, right? So I was shocked. She's in California, one of the worst waters in the country. Her water tasted crystal clear, delicious, awesome. And I was shocked. I said, man, these systems are great. So if you guys have any questions, you can email at info@healthyhometechs.com. Let me know if someone sent you here as well in the email. Say, hey, my friend Greg, sent me in this meeting. I would love to know so I can better assist you and help you and give you my best advice. Okay, guys, have a blessed evening. See y'all next week. Bye, guys. Share this video as well.